guys, gals, non-binary pals, whatever else you are. I am Avery or Hazel or Kylie. Just pick one.
Hello, I am Lily.
And I can do this all day. Welcome to From the Closet. Today we are covering Captain America, the First Avengers trailer.
Okay, and next month we are covering the Avengers. Okay, we can pack it up, everyone. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Okay, honestly, this movie is this movie isn't going to be the movie where Captain America becomes someone's favorite character. It's not going to be the Avengers either. I'm going to tell you that right now. You want to know why people love Captain America? Well, you'll have to wait until we get to the Winter Soldier. But it is
Amazing.
somewhat nice to see where the journey all started with the character.
This is, humble beginnings to waking up in 70 years future.
Okay, but as should be mentioned, this podcast will contain spoilers for Captain America: The First Avenger. There is a link below if you are listening to this on YouTube for you to purchase the movie, and you can watch it on Disney Plus.
So, first I need to understand what the hell is that shield?
It's vibranium.
Okay, so that gives it the properties of being bulletproof, right?
Yes. It's
What I
stronger
wanted-
than... okay, they actually say it in the movie. It's stronger than steel and a third the weight.
Stronger than steel, third of the weight. Yeah. My big question is, how does it return back after being thrown?
Well, it doesn't in this movie.
Okay, well,
But
most of the time he's throwing it, and it should not be repelled that far back. How should I say?
well, the thing is, anytime you see him throw it in this movie, he runs up to grab it again. Later on, he will have an electromagnet installed in the part of the shield where his hand goes, and then also have an electromagnet on his arm that he can just kind of turn on and off whenever he wants and pull the shield to him. But that won't be a thing until Agents of Ultron. What? I just meshed two things together. That won't be a thing until Age of Ultron.
Agents of Ultron.
Oh my god.
So, anyone that works for Marvel watching this, we got your new movie pitch right here on What
No,
If.
that would be a terrible pitch.
I mean, it could be a great episode on What If.
No. We already had What If Ultron won.
And then everyone became Agents of Ultron.
No, everyone died.
Oh shit.
But anyway, yeah, this movie is just kind of okay. I honestly think Thor was better, and I know people are going to be mad at me about that.
I have putting on the actors of the people who played Thor aside, I would have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, this movie has some really weird things, like bad CGI.
Also,
holy god,
Sorry.
CGI and Chris Evans' head onto that skinny boy's body was
Ugh.
really weird.
Also, I totally heard a how should I say, like a default scream in the movie.
The Wilhelm scream? Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I'm going to start taking off a decimal point for every movie I hear that in.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called the Wilhelm scream.
Yes. I can't do it.
Ah! Or something like that. That sounded more like a weird animal. I will never do that again.
The same here. But yeah, I heard that and I was like, wait a minute. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, it's definitely getting a point off for that. So I also, to be fair, like Chris Evans himself is like actually pretty attractive. So is Haley Atwell. Um,
Well, okay, so Haley's probably dead, right?
you mean her character?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No,
What?
no, she's not dead.
Is she an elderly or did they preserve her?
She's really fucking old.
Ah. How old was she in the movie?
I don't know, like 20s.
20, 20 plus. She's fucking 90.
I mean, people can live into their hundreds, so.
Sure, but like, I didn't expect that.
Also, to be fair, at the time Captain America the Winter Soldier takes place, that's like 2013, 2014, 2012, something like that. So she'd only be, well,
Now imagine being told it's like, hey, we found your old boyfriend. Want him back?
yeah. I mean, I could look it up how old um, she is.
Hmm.
But yeah, thinking about it, okay, I love how their relationship isn't completely sudden. You can see that like they like each other early on, even before Steve gets the serum. Um,
So I also like there isn't like this big moment of where like, oh, I didn't like you because of your muscle. I like you because you're you. Seems like every other movie. Also, that one just put three gun um bullets into that shield.
yeah, and there were no holes or anything,
Not even dent. Not even a trace of a dent.
right?
I just love how Mr. Stark was like paralyzed instead of fear.
Okay, so I've been looking this up uh, because I'm trying to figure out how old Peggy was in The Winter Soldier, just to give you an idea. Well, actually, I can just tell you how old she'd be when Steve wakes up from his like 70-year-long sleep or something like that.
Cool, because that's what I want.
She would be 91.
91. Jesus.
Yeah.
Does she have dementia?
Oops. I opened Chrome by accident.
So will Hydra be returning?
Yes, a lot. And I'm glad that, like, eventually we will actually see that Hydra has an overall goal, but unfortunately, it won't be in the movies.
What?
Yeah.
Can you tell me when I can find out their overall goal?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3.
And when does Hydra get killed?
Kinda. Maybe.
So basically, I'm hearing
I'm not
this.
100% sure because I never finished Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3.
Huh. Okay then. Wait, if you never finished season 3, then probably tell me there are like 6 or 8 seasons.
There's 7 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed that so hard right there. It's like 6 or 8. No, it's fucking 7.
Yep. And then you have the Agent Carter series thrown in between those. I think there's 2 or 3 seasons of that. And then you also have the Inhuman show, which only lasted 1 season.
Yeah,
And
giving it only 1 season, that must have been pretty inhuman of them.
a lot of people seem to have not liked Inhumans, although characters from Inhumans are seemingly being worked into the MCU, or worked
Better
into the
start
movies.
liking them.
Worked into the movies, I should say, because they're already MCU.
Okay, actually, now thinking about it, MCU stands for Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't they like redone their acronym to include like the TV shows? It's not really cinematic.
I mean, I
I mean,
think
it's
you're just being pedantic.
what?
But,
Okay,
like,
then.
does it really matter that much?
I mean, I guess not. But still, when I hear MCU, I only at first I only think of the movies because it's cinematic universe. I realize, oh yes, it's just so much more than movies.
But
So much
also,
more than cinema.
well, to be fair, cinematic doesn't necessarily mean that it has to release in a movie theater.
And what does it mean? Because I'm actually curious.
It just means relating to motion pictures.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, really. You can Google it if you want.
And what about all their animation? They probably have none, but
They actually do have animation. There is
what?
one animated show so far in the MCU.
What's that?
What If?
That was animated?
Yep.
Huh.
And we're going to have another show that is animated at some point soon.
Do we know what it is?
Yeah, it's some Spider-Man show, but I can't remember exactly what it's called.
I want to point out how off track we are about talking about other things. But
Well, I
really,
mean,
that's just our trick of relating it to the movie because that's what the movie did. All it
yeah, this.
talked about was
I'm
the
curious
Avengers.
too because we watched the honest trailer for this movie earlier, and like it started out with saying that from the studio that was dumb enough to sell their Marvel franchise rights to Disney. So I'm curious when Disney bought Marvel. So I think I'm going to look that up. While I'm doing that, can you talk more about this movie?
Yeah, I think I can. About telling you more about the Avengers. So you have the Tesseract. I still want to know more about the Tesseract and his powers. And because of the Tesseract, you have him kill. The Tesseract basically killed the bad guy in the movie.
No.
And what the fuck was that?
He teleported.
That makes a whole lot more sense. So the Tesseract, has everyone assume that he's dead.
Yeah, basically everyone assumed that he was dead. Even like movie watchers, like even the people that were watching the movies. And to be fair, we wouldn't see him again for 7 years.
Though, of course, because I was shocked that it would kill him, because I actually already knew what the Tesseract capable of.
Yeah. We wouldn't see the character again for 7 years in terms of like our viewing of the movies, but God, that is like over 70 years for that character to have been stuck in that one place. Holy shit.
What?
Don't worry about it. You'll find out later.
Okay. So, will we see the Tesseract in Avengers?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So we see the Tesseract, we see Captain America, we see
We also
Eye
saw it at
Patch
the end of.
Guy.
We also saw the Tesseract at the end of Thor.
So, it's interesting about this movie. Oh yeah, that's this movie can also relate to Thor, because guess what name they dropped? Odin.
Yeah.
So the Tesseract was originally in Odin's treasury.
Yeah, like the whole thing of like the whole thing with the Red Skull was that he wanted to you know harness the power of the gods.
Sucks for him though. It was just the power of another planet, which actually might as well be gods, but not
Yeah,
gods.
it's a shame he'd get teleported to Vormir
Volmir, where is that?
somewhere, space.
Fair enough. So that sounds a lot like the Thor's hammer. Any connection?
No, that's Mjolnir.
That's what I said. Sounds like. I didn't say it was.
But yeah, so oh, vibranium gonna become more important later. Not just Cap's shield is made from it. Uh,
So obviously, I know better to trust a movie's character, but like Howard Stark said, that shield was the only vibranium existent.
no, he said that was the only vibranium that they had.
Oh, had.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I thought about when he said he had, and okay, Howard Stark has a large reach. If he wanted something, I bet he could get it.
Yeah, but not vibranium. It really is that rare.
Hmm. Speaking about Howard
Now,
Stark, is this the
at
same person that did Howard Stark in Iron Man 2?
I want to say probably.
Okay, you can go on.
Yeah. Robert Downey Sr.
Oh my god, I was gonna bring that up.
No, but it would be funny. But then we get Samuel L. Jackson at the end, bringing Cap back into the world. That was a weird way that they tried to do it, and a weird coincidence that the game that they had playing on the radio was one that he had actually been to.
Huh.
But hey, what are you
Imagine.
going to do? I do want to briefly touch on something too. A lot of
Hmm.
people say that the sacrifice that he made at the end of the movie was completely unnecessary. And I'm like, dude,
Mm,
like, he had to like crash land because there was no way to do a safe landing. Some of the engines were blown out, and like you could see it on like the display thing that he looked at, it showed that some of the engines were blown. So it was going to be a crash landing regardless. Did he have a parachute? No. There was no reason to believe that a parachute would be hiding somewhere on the ship.
And also, the ship was really damaged. So, if there was a parachute, it probably fell out of the plane.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like, it was filled with tons of weaponry and explosives. So it was going to land somewhere and explode. So he had to direct it into the water. There was just no way out of it.
No, he didn't exactly direct it into the water, did he? He directed it
He
straight into ice. Which
I
then
mean,
he
it
froze
seemed to
over.
be like where water met ice, I guess.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, I honestly expected him to just, like, go crashing right through the ice, but
But yeah, he'd freeze over, and because he was a super
some
soldier, he was able to survive being frozen
for years,
decades.
fucking without food. There's a lot of water, but pretty undrinkable.
I do want to mention something. A lot of people missed that when Bucky was captured by Hydra, Arnim Zola did experiments on him, right? Like he was in a special room where experiments were being done on him. And then later you get the train scene and Bucky dies. A lot
Okay.
of people miss that experiments were done on him then.
So wait, wasn't Bucky his Captain America's best friend?
Yes,
Okay, I actually missed that too. That or didn't care to remember.
probably both.
So you're meaning to tell me he's alive?
I'm not saying he's alive. I'm saying he's dead.
So you are saying he's dead? Wait, what?
Yes, maybe.
Your uncertainty makes me think he's alive, kicking, and because of the experimental powers he has, there would never be a reason to bring this up again if Bucky did not have experimental powers to at least survive the landing.
Yeah. Well, see, here's a rule that you should always follow in fiction: no body, no death.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
And
really
that's
should.
gonna.
Big Hero 6, definitely. Wait, what?
Big Hero 6,
I mean,
everything else ever.
I say that's a spoiler, but unless you were me, that was very predictable.
Yeah, everything. I would say with everything, pretty much every single franchise I've watched has had a character who everyone believed was dead just randomly come back to life.
Though I will admit, um, the no body, no death rule, definitely doesn't help when you literally see the body disintegrate. But
I mean,
no, no death.
if you're talking about a certain other movie that we will be covering much later,
I mean the
I
person
mean
in the
that
Tesseract.
okay, but we didn't see him disintegrate.
No, I could, person. Also, that person with the red head. I can't remember his name. He looking like a Star Wars villain. I'm
Well,
sorry, it's true.
he is played by Hugo Weaving, who plays so many villains. So
Like, it's just the red head makes him look like a fucking Star Wars villain.
You should have seen how bad the CGI was on Red Skull in the, I think it was 70s Captain America movie.
There was a 70s Captain America movie.
I think it was the 70s.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Red Skull CGI was horrific. It was the stuff of nightmares. Like, imagine the human faces in Toy Story, but red and made like 10 times more nightmarish.
So wait, what movie did he appear in the 70s? Like,
It was a Captain America movie. So, yeah,
1979?
maybe, I don't know.
It's just called Captain America. Oh my god. That is a 33.6 out of 10.
A 33.6 out of 10?
3.6.
But anyway, yeah. He didn't disintegrate. I watched that scene like very carefully this time, and it very clearly showed something similar to what we see with the Bifrost. It seemed like he was being like burned and hurt with it, but he didn't fully disintegrate. The camera actually cut away as his skin was being burned and as he teleported.
Interesting. It definitely seemed like it hurt.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it hurt.
I mean, that was you saw him, and especially in theaters. Okay, this movie came out in
2011.
Thank you, 2011. You didn't have these fancy streaming. The best you could do was buy it on DVD, and then go heavily back and rewatch it multiple times.
I actually think Netflix streaming launched in 2011.
You really think Captain America was the first thing on it?
I don't think so, but
yeah,
I imagine that there were probably MCU films. I know there were MCU films on Netflix at one point.
My point is that the first people watching this movie were in theaters, and those people probably saw a man getting disintegrated in their head. And that's why it's shocked when he didn't die. He's probably like, I live, bitch.
More like, I hate my fucking life. Why did I live?
Basically. I mean,
pretty much that. But yeah, okay, so this wasn't Chris Evans' first superhero role. He was the Human Torch. Yeah, he was the Human Torch in a Fantastic Four movie at some point. I don't know which one.
Why do I feel like that name reminds me like that was referenced somewhere?
Because we just watched the Honest trailer before this, and it was referenced in that.
Right.
Yeah.
I also like how you said we watched it, you watched it, and I was forced to listen.
To be fair, you laughed quite a bit.
I'm guilty, but shut up.
No. I'm calling you out. But yeah, I think this movie, it very much feels like it's a movie that needed to exist, but that they didn't really know what they wanted to do with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a movie that I would call this movie filler.
Yeah,
and the MCU timeline, this movie is filler.
I mean, not entirely. It does heavily set up the beginning of Captain America's story, and
heavily set up what now?
It also heavily sets up the Tesseract and also tells us like how Captain America can get from the 40s to the 2010s.
Honestly, I just wanted to hear you say Avengers. 'Cause, yeah, set up that too.
I mean, we eventually get to a point where one Marvel movie will be used to set up like 5 others. But yeah, I think at this point I want to go ahead and talk about the critic reviews unless you have something else you want to say.
So something I've been noticing, and I already told you, and you gave me absolutely no response. Either I was crazy or you didn't want to acknowledge it. They use the same sound file, Iron Man's and Stark Industries weapons, as they do as the bad guy, Hydra's weapons.
I mean, I can't really verify that, but it sounds plausible. I mean, there's a fucking toaster in another in an MCU show that has the same sound effect as Iron Man's repulsor rays. A fucking
Huh.
toaster has the same sound effect. So it's really not that surprising to me.
Okay then. I mean, honestly, I felt that was a little bit more significant, especially how the entire plot of Iron Man was how Stark Industry was selling weapons
But
to
yeah,
bad guy.
so IMDb gives this a 6.9 out of 10. Rotten
Okay.
Tomatoes gives it a 79%.
Hmm.
Common Sense Media, I haven't seen that one on here before, gave it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay, never mind. I reacted at 3, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then 84% of Google users liked the movie.
I want you to
So
go first today. I don't know why.
Um, so as I was saying earlier, obviously we knock off a decimal point because it had the Wilhelm scream. So I was going to give this a 7.3, but now it's dropped down to a 7.2.
Honestly, I could not figure out, like, what to give this. Most movies on this podcast, I can barely figure it out. I can figure out, like, a range, and I just throw a dart. Like, yeah, this movie makes me feel around an 8.2 and an 8.8. 8.5. But, like, that's how I rate things. This movie is probably around more of the 7, so bang it all, 7.4. Wasn't
Okay,
a
so you
terrible
actually rate
movie.
this. Yeah. And you actually rated this movie a little higher than me.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely respect a lot of things in this movie. But there's also another part that's it's just how would I say cannon fodder is just the setup for an even greater movie.
Yeah. Actually, I would say it's the setup for 2 even greater movies. Those being The Avengers and Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Right? Yeah.
And
What a glass of
I
milk
don't know. I
now.
think the Winter Soldier, I would say, is probably when Captain America became like a lot of people's favorite character, and it's also when they got rid of that really weird costume that he has and made a better one.
I mean, it was the actually when was Captain America in like what time period?
The 40s. It was
Yeah,
during World War II.
yeah, it was during the 40s. I don't know. They could have
But
weird
yeah,
fashion senses.
so that's where we're at now. I believe we will be covering the Avengers next month. Finally we get to the end of phase 1, and then I think probably in either next month or in August we will do a like retrospective on Phase 1 as a whole. I
Wasn't
actually kind of want to do it
that
next
many
month instead
movies.
of. Yeah, it's 6,
Yeah.
I think.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
what I'm going to talk about in the retrospective, but I guess you can lead me through that, you know,
yeah.
what's your
So,
idea?
until next time, I've been Avery. That's been Lily. Shit, I was gonna say something, and now I can't fucking remember what I was gonna say.
And we'll
It
see you
was
next
something
time
from.
in fucking Avengers.
Yeah, it was something from the movie. Regardless, bye.